Hello, my friends. I'm Alexandria, and you are here watching the Empower Hour. It's a show meant to inspire, motivate, and most of all, empower. And today we are joined by our guest. His name is Sikotikk44, also known as Scott Newman. He is
Hello,
a
hello.
Boulder, Colorado native who now resides in Spokane, Washington. Scott's claim to fame is his passion for self-expression through the art of dance. Since beginning his journey on TikTok, he has over 200,000 followers with 35 million views. Scott is passionate about his dancing and uses it as a tool to empower others as well as himself. Hello, Scott, and welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, my friends. So you are wearing your Sikotikk44 mask. Can you tell us a little bit about what the mask represents to you?
So personally, the mask itself represents a different character of myself, like my subconscious. It is a form of me fighting my battles, or my subconscious fighting my battles, like my mental health, my chronic health issues. And so I created the character based off of how I felt inside, mentally, physically, and he kept me going. So it's almost like, I mean, a lot of people call it an alter persona, or maybe bipolar, but at the same time, he's a lot of people view him as dark, but he's actually very bright. Like he's not demonic or evil or anything. It's more so of a positive sort of vibe he has to give off when he dances.
Oh, I love that. So you are going to reveal your face to us today?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
I
my
am.
friends, thank you so much for joining us. Can you make sure you mute? I hear sweet baby voices in the back. Thank you so much. Scott, you're going to show us your face. Is that
I
right?
am. Yep. The mask goes off.
And
That
there
way,
he is.
that way when people see it.
A lot of your TikTok followers, they just associate you with the mask, right?
Yeah, all they really know is the mask. They don't really know my life kind of behind the mask, what I go through. And again, I guess this is a way for them to kind of understand more behind the mask. So hopefully they can relate a little more, and I'm hoping it can help some people out down the road.
So what was your thought behind the mask when you were creating your TikTok channel? It seems like you put a lot of thought into what it meant and represented, but what was your initial thought behind even incorporating the mask in your dancing?
So I guess the reason why I really incorporated the mask was because I felt like people could relate to, when let's say when we're presenting something, and we have something on our face, it's easier to do it, right? It's easier to ultimately, act or be yourself when you don't have to be yourself. You have
Right.
this thing covering your face, so you can act goofy, but nobody really knows who you are. So
Right.
basically, incorporating the mask made me feel more comfortable, behind you're in front of the camera. So that was kind of the reason why I incorporated that. But if you scroll through all my videos, you'll see me without the mask too. But so
A
he was
little
really
earlier on in your dancing, or
yeah.
yeah. So what aspect of your work are you most passionate about? Is it like creating the choreography? Do you even do any choreography? Is it like freestyle dancing, or like what's your favorite aspect about dancing, or is it all of it?
I would say all of it, honestly. I do choreography. A lot of it is choreography. There's also a lot of freestyle. I mean, a lot of people like to have their comments put up in the videos, and I think that really helps connect with the fans or the followers. I mean, you'll get a lot of questions, weird questions, saying, can you put me up in a video, or I want to be next? And you can't get through all of them, but you put the ones up that you can either relate to or that are funny or that, are pertaining to a certain subject that you're explaining on, or so it's kind of all over the place with that, but honestly, I enjoy it all.
Oh, wow. So you do choreograph the dances before you go through and you post them and you put them up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, very
Usually
cool.
I try to.
Yeah.
But doesn't always go well. You know, sometimes I throw the mask.
So, are there any community outreach efforts that you participate in, or something that you have in the past that you really connected with and you enjoyed?
So I never really have done, I mean, I want to get more into community outreach. I haven't really had the time or energy, and I know, time is everybody's issue these days, but I think more so this year, I'm going to start connecting with like mental health awareness um, associations, and hoping that I can connect with them and do, some sort of sponsorships through them, because, and not charge them anything more. So this is just because I want to get the word out there that people aren't alone, in regard to what they're going through. So if I can connect with people on that, I think that'll be a big goal for this year.
So, what is your what's your passion behind the mental health journey? Why is that something that you would like to tap into?
Well, I lost my dad January 10th, 2019 due to suicide. And he was a big supporter of our family, everything. He took care of everybody. He was one of the nicest people that you could meet, and he was a business owner, so thankfully I got a little bit of his brain. Hopefully it works out. But ultimately, seeing what he went through, I would like to kind of raise awareness that, it may be hell, what we go through mentally, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm hoping people see that, even for me, because I drank a lot in the beginning, drink, and I have a bad pancreas, so it ruined my pancreas over time as well. And I mean, ultimately, my pancreas was bad anyways, but it didn't help the situation. So then now I'm put on meds for that. But the thing is, I guess the point behind it is that I think there needs to be more awareness for mental health. I don't think there's enough of it. I think people try and we try and we try to make sure that, we're getting the point out there that mental health is a normal thing, but people who don't understand mental health necessarily, they like to judge. And I'm trying to stop that because it's negative, and my dad always had this saying, negative is, equals negative things in your life, positive is positive things. So, if you say mean things, you're going to get negative back. If you say positive things, you'll get positive things back. And I do think that pertains to mental health as well.
Oh, yeah. And the thing behind mental health is it seems like it's a two-parter. We were talking about this on how, the struggle itself is hard to overcome and hard to deal with just as an individual struggling mentally. And then the second part to that is it feels like the loneliness compounds on top of it because of the shame and every the judgment, like you were saying, all the things that's associated with being honest with somebody and saying, hey, I have an issue with this. They are probably riddled with fear before they even have that conversation, while they're having the conversation, and probably afterwards, because they're so concerned that that person is going to lack empathy for their struggle.
Yeah.
So they just internalize the pain, and therefore the pain perpetuates and you feel lonely and sad, and it's just this vicious cycle. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't win that battle. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad because of that state of mind, and then the loneliness associated with it too.
Yeah.
So I can understand why you want to be a part of the mental health initiatives, because those are definitely arenas that we need to be better in as a whole, as a people. So yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what would you say out of your life like truly inspires you?
Ooh, man, there's a lot of stuff that's always kind of been an inspiration. I mean, other than dancing, because I was also a marksman back in college, and before that, I did sharpshooting, through college, Ohio State for a little while. Didn't last very long, but it was something that I felt like I could actually compete in, because I mean, to be honest, my health issues have always held me back with sports. I mean, I'd be the person that would be running as fast as I can, working as hard as I can, and I wasn't bad at them. It was just I had a really bad gag reflex at the most random times that I'd just start gagging, and then I'd feel like I was going to throw up. And so I was able to reverse everything, kind of like reverse psychology, and go to shooting. And there's no running or anything like that. You have to be in shape, but you're holding a gun and you're just shooting down the range and you're shooting targets. And that was kind of another thing that I took control of, along with my father. So that was fun. And let's see what else. I mean, I've had a lot of things inspire me to just try to be better, be a better version of myself, whether it was, a quote, or whether it was family, or whether it was friends, or maybe, a goal. I think goals, I try to live by goals, because, sometimes I feel as though, like, let's say I wake up in the morning and I set some small goal, at least I'm living to try to be a better version of myself at the end of the day. When I hit
Right.
that goal, then it's like, okay, well, I accomplished something. So then I don't feel so depressed. And I've realized that the more goals I set, the less depressed I feel. Because, you could set just getting out of bed, taking a shower, because when you're severely depressed and you're always in bed all the time, at least you got out and you did it. You feel better about yourself. So,
Right.
and I think if people really added in those goals to, mental health and everything, they would start to see that it would give them inspiration to just keep slowly pushing themselves to do more. And that was
Yeah,
always
just
something.
the little things. Like I think I was reading something about the way millionaires operate each day. And oh, I froze for a second. Oopsie. Okay, and I'm back. It was something about how millionaires operate, and it was like just get up and do small things like make your bed. And I was just like, make your bed, okay. But then I got up and I consciously try to do that every day, and I'm like, well, if anything else fails in this day, my bed and my pillows look nice. You know
Right.
what I
Yep.
mean?
See?
Like I
Yep.
at least accomplished that. So, and isn't that what life really is though? Is like accomplishing small goals each day to
I see that.
hopefully they add up enough to be impactful and to be operated in a way to which you end up enjoying your life and you feel fulfilled. Because at the end, that's all we really have, if we're lucky, is memories. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Oh yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's just little accomplishments each day. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So, what is the greatest lesson you think you've ever learned?
Ooh, I've learned a lot. um, I mean, some lessons I probably had to relearn 3 times, but you live and learn, right? I would say probably it would be to honestly to not judge a book by its cover. I think, and I tend to live by that one even today. You'll have, and that goes along with saying, with social media, you have haters, and I do think that, if you judge a book by its cover without realizing what's under the cover, oftentimes you're surprised at what people are going through. And I can't tell you how many times I've judged somebody, maybe, due to just because I could, you know, and I've stopped that in the past year just because, you know, with seeing how it is on, TikTok, it's rough, with haters and stuff. People are rude, and so I think that's probably number one for me
Have
personally.
Have you experienced rudeness on TikTok?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've had people create accounts to say, that I suck at dancing. I've had people come in and completely report all my videos. I've had people blow me up with messages, rude messages stating, you need to stop, I'm tired of this or that. And just, people suck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's you know, and my guess is I'll probably start seeing it more and more with how the world is, you know.
That's the unfortunate thing about it, and the thing that you have to kind of prepare yourself for is
Yeah.
like the more visibility that you have and the more people that you are exposed to, that you're just widening that circle of like different personalities and different state of minds and different levels of mental health and like all those things. So it's one thing for you to be like dancing in your house and like nobody's a critic, but it's another thing to be exposed to hundreds of thousands of people, or to reach your goal of millions of people. Those are a lot of eyeballs that are in very different stages of their life, so you're going to be susceptible to that. But I just, it's interesting because I'm just like, you are just a man who is living his passion on camera, and it
Right.
happens to be dance. So I will never kind of understand that perspective of like that need for people to be ugly. I'll never get it.
Yeah, I never understood it either. I still don't understand it. My thing is, in pertaining to the movement I'm trying to, start is stay kind. So, I mean, what's the point of throwing root out into the world when, either karma or something else is going to happen, and you're going to wake up one morning and be like, okay, well, I have to change my, thought process on treating people, So,
Yes. Yeah, and I love that message, stay kind. So with the brand that you want to create, like what is your vision behind creating that apparel line? And like, is it going to be shirts or hats, or like what is that going to look like for you?
it'll be everything. I'm gonna start with shirts, beanies, leggings, sweatpants, kind of just a dancing sort of look. But basically, my whole goal behind it is, chronic issues, mental health issues, whatever it is, PTSD, everything that pertains to mental health. You want to be kind to those people because small things can trigger some sort of form of, okay, well, maybe I'm not good enough to be here. And you don't want to trigger that in people, especially that suffer from something, which goes back to don't judge a book by its cover, because the minute you do, you could end up ruining someone's life, you know?
Mhm.
And I think it all just kind of flows into one thing, just because, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I believe in positivity. I believe in, what you put out into the world, you get back, sort of thing. Either in a small form or a big form, or your kids or your family or whatever it is. And I think, if we all lived more so by that motto, it would change the world maybe in a few ways, but I'm hopeful.
I agree. So for my stay kind outfit, I'm gonna need a black tracksuit.
Okay. Okay.
And I wanted to say stay kind on the back of the hoodie.
Okay, there you go. I
Because
like it.
I'm always in black. And I mean, this is about as bright as I'll get, but it's black is the core. Like
Right.
I don't know what it is. I'll go to a store and I'm like, oh, I need that shirt. And of course it'll be black, like all black, everything.
Right. Yeah, see,
But
I'm the same way. I like
are you? Well,
like
yeah, you
yeah,
are.
like
Even your
even right
character
now.
it reflects that. Yes,
Yeah.
love it. So, is there a book that you have read or something that you would suggest to someone else that was really powerful for you, or even if it was like a book on tape? I'm really big. I used to, well, sometimes when I have the time, I'll sit down and I'll read, but I'm really big on books on tape now, or like audiobooks, because I'm going. And so I'll like have it in the car. So I'm still getting some type of stream of knowledge to my mind. But
Right.
is there anything that you read that when you think of an impactful book, you can refer back to that?
So personally, I mean, to be dead honest, I'm not much of a reader, but I relate more so to songs. So
Oh,
so what my brain does is I'll listen to a song, and if it puts me in a good mood, I'll add it to one of my playlists on YouTube. A lot of people tend to go listen to my playlist, but um so my brain will pick up, let's say, it's an uplifting song. It'll make me feel better if I want to be in a better mood, sort of thing. So I would say personally, I mean, the books for me, I used to read a lot, but I guess, in college, I probably got pretty tired of it.
well, what's your song? What's the song that?
So I have a
Love.
few. I think it's Mind by Skrillex. I believe it's Mind. Yeah, it's something like Mind by Skrillex. It's a
I love
very,
Skrillex. Me and my
yeah,
husband have him on our playlist. Like
yeah,
we love him to
yeah,
death.
yeah. I love Skrillex too, and he's really not. I mean, one of those DJs that has a lot of, cuss words in his music. I mean, he has a few, but it's not awful. I don't like listening to stuff that's constant, cussing and stuff. When I dance, I would like to feel how I want to feel. That's why
Mm,
if you take dubstep, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you take dubstep and you turn it on, it allows you to feel how you want to feel. It doesn't tell you how to feel a certain way. It doesn't say, that the person lost love or this or that. It's more so it's a beat, but you can feel how you want to feel to it, depending on your mood. If you ever go and just turn on dubstep, it could be quiet dubstep, you know, and it'll just allow you to feel some sort of way. So I guess
that's
that's kind of,
cool. Like I've
yeah,
got to go and kind of listen and evaluate to
yep,
dubstep,
yep, yep,
dubstep now because I've never really um listened to his music in that way. I think like I love this artist called Shallow. And I like to say that his music is like the soundtrack of my life because everything's
right,
really mellow. It's like a combination of mellow and happiness. But I think I understand what you're saying about dubstep because if you're sad and you listen to it, it can play into the sadness too. Like
yep,
it does. It allows you to feel how you feel in that moment without telling you how to feel.
yeah, exactly, exactly, and
I completely understand.
that's how it is with dancing too. Is when I turn on like something without words, you'll either see me get really angry with my dancing, or you'll see me kind of just slow and chill, or kind of like the sad. And I feel like though the angrier I get, the better I dance. It's kind of weird, but you'll see comments. People comment. I want to see you do it sad. I want to see you do it happy. It's not it. But if it's to a song with words, it's really hard to do, because if the song's really happy and they want you to do it sad, it kind of, your brain is like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense, and then it doesn't look good. But at the same time, I always tell people, go listen to the song, before you dance to it, or before you, whatever you're about to do. Let's say you have a routine during the day, add a song to the routine for your day and see if it changes how you feel. Just because I think there's a lot of expression in dubstep itself, because there's always a story behind the song, so why not have a story behind dubstep and why they created it?
So does your would you say that your dancing kind of reflects your mood for that day?
Yep, completely.
Oh, that I didn't realize that because
Yep,
I don't know. I just imagine in my mind that you have your choreography and you have a song or that you pick a song and then you create a choreography to go with that song and then you post it. But I didn't really feel I didn't think I guess when I was interpreting your dancing, I'm just like taking it in. I'm not like
right.
analyzing it, but I don't know. I didn't I didn't realize that it would that you're like so emotionally connected to your dancing
Yeah,
too, and it really just reflects the space that you're in for that day. And I love that you don't try to create an energy that you're not actually in. Like it's just purely reflective of what space you're in at that moment.
right.
That's pretty vulnerable.
Well, honestly, I always tell people, I've done, what's this song? I think it's I'm an Albatross. I can't even pronounce the name, but
Yeah,
it's a song
albatross.
I've
Yeah.
done. Yeah, it's a song I've done, I think probably about 15 times. If you go through it, you'll notice I dance different each and every time. Every version I do is different, whether it has more energy or whether it has less energy, or whether it's kind of more so tired or kind of mopey or kind of, it's all different. Positive, sad, negative, happy. It's all over the map. Some of them are angry. It's a way I express myself without expressing myself in real life. It's more so just getting the anger out while I can, or getting the frustration out, or releasing the negative vibes into, my dancing, to focus it on something else, as compared to, a yelling match with my family, getting mad at somebody when I don't need to. So it's a way to kind of protect my mental health and other people, in the verbal way, just because
Yeah.
we
So
all
do
have.
you feel like it's a release for you? Like it's
Oh, yeah.
you use it as a means of like healthy coping with your emotions so that, like you said, you don't lash out, or it keeps you from getting in arguments. It keeps you
Yep.
from negative exchanges with other people. You're
Yep.
just like, you know what? I'm gonna go dance.
Yep. Yep. Basically.
I
And
can't
that's
deal with you
great.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you
That
what.
is awesome.
I wish there
That
were
is
more
such a
times that I
healthy
did
way to
that.
deal with stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. That's so good. I'm just thinking about it. So, what is your perspective on failure?
I believe that we all fail. I believe that, in order to succeed, you have to fail, because if you don't fail, then you will never know what failure feels like. Because
Mm,
if you're always succeeding in something, and then, that day pops up that you're having a bad day, then I mean, you're going to throw a tantrum, you're going to throw a fit about it just because you don't know how to deal with it. And I mean, even with my, with TikTok or whatever it is, or even, kids or whatnot, you fail. At times there's, we're never perfect. I don't believe in perfection. I don't believe that anything in this world is perfect other than one, God. And I believe that, all in all, I think that more of us need to fail in order to realize that we are actually worth something. Because just because you fail doesn't mean you're not worth anything. So,
I think it's so interesting the relationship we're taught to have with failure,
yep,
right? Like it's unacceptable, like you're
yep,
lesser than if you fail. We're not really taught that failure is a part of the process, and that it's natural and it's inevitable and it's necessary in order to learn and grow and be better and succeed. Like I have this post that I wrote a few months ago, I think it was, and it's like I'm saying failure and success are they're allies. Like they work hand in hand. They're not polar opposites of one another. You're not either a failure or a
right,
success. Like
right,
you have
exactly.
to fail and make mistakes in order to be successful. And I just feel like, as we're coming up and as children, there's so much condemnation on being anything less than perfect
Right,
that we start to create this perspective of having to do everything just right. And I was like a perfectionist for a long time, like a lot of my adult life. I was not comfortable with failure, like wasn't an
right,
option,
yep,
unacceptable to
yep.
fail, right? Like that was my whole vibe.
Oh yeah,
And then what ends up happening is you like holding on to the reins of your life so intensely that you become afraid of it, and then therefore you don't branch out or expose yourself to anything new because you don't want to create an opportunity for failure. So you
right,
just stay stuck in playing it safe. And I don't know what happened to me. I just woke up one day and I was just like, no, that's not reality. I think I was listening to entrepreneurs and listening to people that I admired in life. And they kept talking about their relationship with failure and how it's necessary and how you have to get to from point A to point B. And I'm just like, yes, that is the truth. We have to be comfortable with not succeeding all the time, and understanding that you're not going to always be winning. Like you have
right,
to, it's basically like training. Like failure is training to get to the winning point. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think I think a lot of people see failure as just this awful thing. Like, okay, well, I failed today, and now I'm, just in a bad mood. I'm all pissed off and just unhappy. But in all reality, it's just there to teach us. You learn from it's just like a mistake. You know, it's really not much different than the mistake itself. So, I mean, I think failure itself is a pretty harsh word. I just think people need to take a step back and realize that we're all worth it. We're all equal, and we're here to we have a purpose, and I believe a lot in that too. Whether or not I know what my purpose is or anybody else's, but I believe that we all have a purpose, whether it's to, help others or, be there for somebody or show empathy or, maybe put a smile on somebody's face. Purpose is either small or big.
Oh, yes, I agree. So good. I just love these conversations. So we are right on target for our last question, which is, what is your favorite candy?
Favorite candy, although I'm not supposed to eat candy, is Sour Patch. I've always loved
You
it.
said although you're not supposed to eat candy, it's Sour Patch. So you were into sour candies.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't like the Warhead candies. I can't do that candy, but I can do Sour Patch. That's about it. Like, you give me a Warhead candy, it's either on the floor or in the trash, So
if you go to a movie, you're getting a popcorn and some Sour Patches.
Yep.
You're like, yep, that's what I'm getting.
Yep, nothing else. It'll be me, my popcorn, and my Sour Patch. So.
So why are you not allowed to have candies?
Well, my pancreas can't really handle it. The sweets aren't really good for it. And my liver isn't the best either, but it's better than it used to be. But it's just harder to digest, and it's too much kind of, the sweets and the fat. Fat is really bad for the pancreas. But so I try to get stuff low in fat, low in sugar. God knows that is not low in fat and low in sugar, but I still like it. It's the taste. I tried one the other day and it just about knocked me out,
Oh,
yeah,
you were just like, I just got to have
Sour
Patch right now.
Yeah.
Is it nostalgic for you? Like, have you always enjoyed Sour Patches? Like, even in your childhood, it was your go-to candy?
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me. I think it's funny because my littles are into sour candies, and I don't know where that came from because I was never like, yeah, give me that sour worm. No, like that even I had to talk them off the ledge a couple of years back because it was like straight up a sour candy gel. Have you seen these? They come in, there's like a small little bottle, and it's literally just like sour gel, and they just kind of pour it into their mouth. Have you seen that? And I was just like, what in the world? I did not understand it because I've always been like a chocolate. Like, chocolate's my go-to, sweet candies. So just to watch it like gobble sour gel, I was like, that, I don't know where that comes from. That's got to come from my husband because I'm not about that life. But
I can't do the sour gels or any sour stuff like that. Like, I mean, I've had friends trick me into really sour stuff, and it makes me sick. Like, just the taste, Just
also, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you too, because I really love this aspect on your ability and the strength to dance every day the way you do with your chronic illness. So tell people about that, because that is powerful.
Well, I suffer from chronic pancreatitis. So, I mean, and ulcers. I also have ulcers right now too. But I mean, with the medication that they put me on between the pain meds and nausea meds and all that stuff, I mean, and half the time I'm sick under the mask, so you have to just push through it. But it's one of those things where when I dance, I am, what's the word? It's like I'm in a different world. It's because I'm so focused on something that I love to do that I don't really worry about the pain. I don't worry about the nausea. I don't worry about, feeling just god awful. Instead, I focus on just the dancing and the words to the song itself. And then my brain kind of goes in this, sort of swing of like, okay, well, maybe we don't have to worry about the pain right now. maybe we can just focus on, this song and then we'll worry about it later. And half the time it actually helps me push through to where I don't have to take a pain med or I don't have to take nausea med, because it's like this form of reverse psychology. Like, okay, well, he's dealing with it his way, so maybe we'll just hold off till later till we start to hurt. That's the way I view it. So it's there's times where, I've gotten sick, while dancing. There's times where I've ended up just, shooting less videos. It just is really dependent upon how I feel at the time. And the meds, the pain meds alone make you sick anyway. So, what's the difference between taking them and not taking them at the same time when you're always nauseous? So that's another view on it too.
Oh man. So with your dancing, do you feel like when you're in that space and you are kind of distracted from the ailments that you experience with your chronic pain, is there ever a point where you're dancing and then you stop and it just like all hits you, like
Yeah.
like you were saying, okay, he's dancing, we'll leave him alone for the time being.
Yeah.
Do they ever come back like, okay, he's finished, let's go, let's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think it was yesterday or the day before it hit me. And with pancreatitis, you just never know what's going to happen. You either get sick or you don't. You know, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten sick with pancreatitis just because it seems like an endless, roller coaster. But at the same time, you learn how to control things. You learn what works for you, what doesn't, what movements to do today or what movements to not to do today to not trigger a certain, response from your body. So, over time, having pancreatitis, I think for 12 years, I've learned how to really adjust my lifestyle to where, certain things work, certain things don't. And then at times nothing works other than going to the hospital and being admitted for a few days. So, honestly, dancing has kept me from really like having to go into the hospital. I feel like, along with my meds, the meds have kept me out too, just because it's given me a more normal lifestyle. But then you also have the mood swings with the meds. So it's all over the map. I don't think there's really a perfect answer for it other than, I get sick a lot more than people would ever notice on a video, because I show them the happy part. I don't want to show them the awful part. They're supposed to see Sikotikk, a person or a character I'm trying to brand and turn into a brand, and turn into somebody that they can wake up and see and be like, okay, well, I'm going to be in a better mood because I saw Sikotikk dance today, and I get a lot of those messages where, I think I've had one person tell me, oh, you saved my life today because, I watched your video and it made me feel better and it made me feel like I can accomplish my goals. And that's the vibe I try to give off, is I try to turn, these masks, into a certain vibe, into a certain character that, has evolved over time. Sikotikk started out in costume. Now he's basically fully, tactical, into where, I'm still adding more things to him. He's evolved from this raggedy costume to something more strong and sturdy, and that was kind of the way I saw him in the beginning. Was he was kind of like in the beginning phases, and till, the past month is when he's really changed with, becoming more sturdy and strong. So mentally for me, the sickness, the mental health issues have been taken care of by him. And I know it sounds weird. People are probably like, they're going to be like, oh, that's weird, taken care of by him, but to me, it's just my subconscious, it's my subconscious saying, Scott, you can do this. You can push through. You can be a better version of yourself. We all can. You can deal with the mental health. You can, deal with the health issues. You can push through and be a better version of yourself without the worry of, relapsing and going back to alcohol and going back to anything that you used to do. Because I used to drink, I used to pound 24, 48 beers a day, without any repercussion other than feeling awful the next morning. But, between God and these masks, more so God, but these masks help too, because I was able to bury it behind it, come up with a way to express myself, and then really release that and express myself through the masks. then I just keep recreating Sikotikk, but he's evolved 2 times, from, basically just a mask and normal clothes to a half mask. If I have the original one, yeah, this is the original one. So half mask and basically like two-faced, one side is all happy, the other side is dark, sort of thing. So he's evolved over time to just having a specific strong look, to being this character that's just there to fight when I can't. So
Oh my God, that's so good. And basically, over time, Sikotikk he's kind of like a reflection of your subconscious, is what I can see from it. The strong
Yep.
event. And who knows what the next mask would be, because right now you're connected to the one mask, but it could also grow into something else to be more reflective of wherever you are in a few years from now. So he
Yep.
probably, as a character, will be forever changing, because he's kind of like a mirror for you, though. He's a reflection of you internally. Ooh, that's good,
Exactly.
Scott.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. That's the reason why I created him, was because I never had a way to express how I felt internally with my subconscious. Sometimes it felt as though I had another side of me talking to me. And again, it sounds weird, but I had this almost like alter persona, saying, you can do this, you can push, you can be better, you can do better, you can do what they're doing. Just because they're successful doesn't mean you can't be. And it was never negative. There's always this little voice in the back of my head saying, you can accomplish this, you can accomplish that, you can do whatever you want. So when he first started, it was just something raggedy. I mean, the clothes had holes in them. I just didn't know what I was going to do with it, sort of thing. To now, he actually has a whole different look. He has this character of, almost looks like he's tactical, but basically the definition I go with is sturdy, just because it's meant to be strong. He's there to be strong when you can't.
I'm a part of this group called the Existential Human Project, and they talk a lot about that voice, and they call it a narrator. And it's interesting because I think all of us feel like we're the only one that has that voice, but we
Right.
all have that voice. And the thing is like, we have to control that voice, because it can either build you up or tear you down.
Right.
And putting in energy into creating that positive inner dialogue, or having the negative talks with yourself, but not becoming stuck in that space of listening to it, is also important, because we have to, allow ourselves to have whatever thoughts and then release them. But we all have that narrator that says either I'm a piece of crap or I can do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we
Right.
have to really focus on speaking kindly, staying kind even to ourselves, because we will defeat ourselves and talk ourselves out of greatness before we even give ourselves a chance.
Exactly.
And I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of like everything you've overcome and everything that you are continuing to do, and how you and your character are growing, and you're so strong. And that's why I was going to share your story regardless of how if I had to create something to show people how wonderful you are, I was going to do it, because this is
that.
what'd you say?
I appreciate that.
Yes, because
That
it's
really means a lot.
powerful. Because when I look at you dance, I don't even know how I randomly came across it. But I was like, oh, this guy's good. And you know how it is. Something captivates you and then you start to scroll.
Yep.
But to look at you dance, you would never think that you overcome as much as you do on a daily basis to be able to provide those videos. and the fact that you do makes it even more incredible.
Well, I
So
guess
I
I think
appreciate you
I
so much.
yeah, and that's the thing is I try to help people see that just because they're going through something that it doesn't mean they don't have to do, or it doesn't mean that they can't do it. They can't do what they want to do because, I mean, just because you feel crappy doesn't mean that you can't get something done. And I'm trying to help others see that there's light, you know, at the end of that tunnel, whether it's very long, 10 miles long, 1,000 miles long, you get to it eventually. You just keep driving. And I guess with the character and with myself and with everything I've gone through, I was, always hoping to, spread some light to people that really needed it, whether it's to save somebody's life or whether it's to really kind of help them see that, there's more to our life personally, I believe, than what we understand. You know, I think deeper, there's a lot more to us as human beings, even our own lives, than what, reality has shown us. So it's just dancing was always a passion. It always has been, and it'll probably continue to be, until the day I die. But the thing is, it's a positive passion in a sense. I mean, depending on how you look at it, it can be negative. Yeah, if you feel negative during the day and while you're dancing, it's gonna look a little negative. And depending on the songs, a lot of people don't realize certain songs I will relate to because of how I feel. So sometimes I tell people just go listen to the words. Like, why did you do this song? Well, listen to the words. It's not always that way, but a lot of the time when you see my mood really, intense, that's because I'm relating to a current song.
Mm, okay. Well, that's my goodness. That's so good. That's so good. Well, I am so happy that you shared your time with me today, and we're going to upload this onto YouTube, and I hope I don't even hope. I know that your story will inspire people because it definitely inspired me and my husband. The first time we talked to you, we like had conversations about you and just were like blown away about who you are as a person. You know what I mean? Just so humble and so kind and overcoming so much. And you are an inspiration.
Well, I
We
appreciate
appreciate
that.
you.
No, I appreciate you because this right here means a lot. Just the fact that you took interest. A lot of people, when they see somebody dancing with a mask, they don't really take interest. They're just like, oh, he's just a dancer, she's just a dancer. Us dancers, to be honest, we get looked past a lot. Dancers in general do, just because they don't understand like why people dance. And we all have a story to tell. You could ask 30 other dancers, they'd all have a different story on why they do it. Some do it for fun, but it's hard to really connect with, I mean, anybody in regard to, TikTok or YouTube, just because there's not a lot of, there's dancers, but there's not dancers that really care about dancing itself. They more so care about just learning about it, which is fine. But I think the people to really connect with on there are the people that have a story to tell behind it. And I've met 300 people online that have different stories, and it's all pertaining to what we all relate to, mental health or health issues, which is awesome. So we've created a community of dancers who are just starting on the app, and we help blow them up.
I
So
love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And psychotic. I've been saying Sikotikk for I don't know how long. And I was just loud and wrong. It's
oh, you're good.
psychotic
Yeah,
44.
yeah.
So everybody, this was Scott Newman. He is Sikotikk44 on TikTok. Please go check him out. The spelling is Sikotikk, right?
Yep.
44 on TikTok. He has now over 200,000 followers, and he is doing amazing. And I know that he's going to get even more of a following because he's just a great dancer and an even better person.
Thank you. You're an
So thank you
amazing
so
person
much
as
for
well.
watching, my friends. I do hope that within this hour you were inspired, motivated, and most of all, empowered. So I will see you next Friday. And until then, be blessed. Thank you,
All
Scott.
right. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.